Rob Pelinka and the Lakers are having the best free agency in NBA history right now. People thought that trade deadline roster Pelinka put together last year was scary. This is on a whole nother level. In the 2022 season, the Lakers started off a 2-10 team with absolutely no hopes of reaching the postseason. The number one person to blame for that was Rob Pelinka. He put together an awful roster around LeBron and AD. And I know it's fun to blame LeBron. Oh, LeBron wanted Westbrook. AD wanted Westbrook. But at the end of the day, you're the GM. You should have been smart enough to know that Westbrook on this team was not going to work. You have Russ and Patrick Beverly as your point guard or two guard, whichever one. Neither one of them can shoot, and neither of them could even defend. I know Patrick Beverly's supposed to be this great defender, but last season we saw him get absolutely cooked on the perimeter, and that's why he got benched. And somehow we're able to flip those guys into Rui Hachimura, Vanderbilt, and then also D'Angelo Russell. How Rob Pelinka and the Lakers front office managed to get all those pieces just off pure garbage for trade, that needs to be studied. After the Lakers win this next championship, I need a documentary about the post trade deadline Lakers squad because this is just unimaginable. We've never seen a team, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember ever seeing a team that was put together with that many different pieces at the trade deadline, then go on to the Western Conference Finals in the same year. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I've ever seen that before. So that just speaks volume to Rob Pelinka's team building. That's enough about Rob Pelinka, enough Rob Pelinka praise. Let's talk about actually what the Lakers have done this offseason. Let's start with the cuts. Malik Beasley is out of here. Thank God. It seems like a lot of players come to the Lakers and completely forget how to shoot. We signed Malik Beasley to be that knockdown 3-point threat that we needed to spread the floor for AD and LeBron, but he ended up only shooting 26% from three during the playoffs and ended up getting benched. He was completely unplayable. So I definitely agree with the decision to not bring him back and not renew his contract. The other guy that we're definitely not bringing back is Mo Bamba. And honestly, I like Mo Bamba, but he just does not provide enough. He doesn't have the IQ, he doesn't have the motor, and then he's not healthy enough. So just wouldn't make sense to bring him back when there's other big men on the market still. And we haven't renewed Tristan Thompson's contract yet, but I expect us to pick that up because I'm sure it's going to be pretty cheap, maybe like $1 million a year, like a complete minimum contract. And that's worth it to me. We saw those few minutes he had in the Western Conference Finals, and that pick and roll with LeBron just looked beautiful. I love the energy. I love the hustle. He's definitely a guy who still has a place in the league today. So I could see him being our backup center, maybe backup power forward, someone who's going to play maybe 10, 15 minutes a night and maybe play a little bit more when AD needs those rest days. Now, we did lose two players who I feel like would have been a great asset to us if they had stayed, and that's going to be Dennis Schroeder and Lonnie Walker. Dennis Schroeder was on a great contract for us. He turned down what I think it was $89 million 2 years ago. Then ended up signing for like $7 million to the Celtics, and then came back for like $20 million. But it was a great contract for us, and he was giving us all he had. I loved the points, I loved the assists, and he was playing great defense, especially during that Warriors series. I seen what he was doing to Steph, and he was really bothering his shot. So he ended up signing to go to the Toronto Raptors, which I think is mm, it's a good fit, but you lost Fred VanVleet and signed Dennis Schroeder. I'm not sure which direction this team is going to end up going. Are we tanking? Are we still trying to compete with like Scotty Barnes and Pascal Siakam, but we're gonna have Dennis Schroeder as the starting point guard? I just don't think that team has a very high ceiling. But we'll see what they end up doing. I wish them nothing but the best. And then we also lost Lonnie Walker. Lonnie Walker is absolute magic. Like he's been on the team for maybe 2, 3 years at this point, and we've seen him absolutely blossom. In that Warriors series, he looked absolutely magical. What was that? It was the fourth or third quarter where he ended up scoring like 20 something points. He was insane. He was on fire. And Lonnie Walker is such a streaky player. He really reminds me a lot of Jordan Clarkson. It's a guy you can just bring off the bench and he'll just have a ton of energy. And he will put up those shots and you can see it in his face. It doesn't bother him when a shot misses. He's like, okay, the next one's gonna go in. And he shot a pretty good percentage from the field. I'm definitely gonna miss this guy, but what he got, we won't be able to pay. And I also think he's going to have a lot more of the ball in his hand up in Brooklyn. And those games are going to be super fun to watch. I really look forward to seeing Lonnie Walker and Mikal Bridges play together. Oh, and I almost forgot. It's pretty easy to forget. Troy Brown Jr., he's not coming back. Thank God. Troy Brown Jr. was the worst NBA player to ever touch a basketball court. I don't ever want to see Troy Brown Jr. play. Him and Juan Toscano Anderson, the absolutely worst players the Lakers have ever signed. But in some good signing news, we've managed to retain Austin Reaves for only $50 million. He's definitely worth way more. So I think he definitely took a pay cut to choose to stay in LA. So hopefully we help him out on the back end with something. Rui Hachimura, we've also picked up and retained, and we also re-signed D'Angelo Russell. A lot of people didn't want D'Lo back on the team, but if you didn't, you're an idiot. And I said that before in one of my videos. D'Angelo Russell was a big reason why we even made it into the postseason. Okay, he had a couple games and two series where he didn't play that well, but at the end of the day, he was terrific during the regular season. There is no point guard on the market that we're going to get for the price of D'Angelo Russell with the production of D'Angelo Russell. He signed a 2-year deal, which is great for us. If he does good, we can keep him. If he does bad, we can trade him. He'll still have some value. And then we also picked up Gabe Vincent. This was a great pick because we needed more 3-and-D guys, especially with Malik Beasley leaving. And really, he never gave us any 3 or D. Pause. We saw Gabe Vincent actually light it up in the playoffs last season. He averaged, what was it, like 12 points, and he's shooting 40% from three. We need that. The Lakers need that. This was a terrific pickup, Plinka. And we also got Cam Reddish on a really good deal. So I expect to see Cam get some PT, especially with Troy Brown Jr. gone and Lonnie Walker's gone. And he plays that small forward position. And Cam has been a guy we also talk about having a lot of potential. He was a top high school prospect 2 or 3 years ago. And we've never really seen him get that PT to develop. When he was on the Blazers, there was a lot of other distractions, and then they were tanking once Dame got injured. And we haven't really seen him play for a team who wants to win and has capability to win. So I want to see Cam Reddish get some runs. I want to really see what he can do. And these last couple seasons, we've seen AD not want to play the five and also get injured a lot. So I expect to see him load manage a lot more. So we picked up Torian Prince and Jackson Hayes to help fill those big man minutes for us. Torian Prince is a knockdown 3-point shooter. He shot 38% last year. He's not much of a shot blocker, but he plays decent defense in the paint. So I think pairing him with AD in the starting lineup would be the best option. And that's a scary front court. Who got a better front court in the NBA? Torian Prince and AD. You could argue maybe Cat and Gobert, but I'm taking Torian and AD any day. Jackson Hayes is a guy I haven't seen too much of. I know he was like the eighth or ninth in 2018, 2019. I haven't seen a lot of his games. Not someone I have a really high hopes on, but maybe he'd come in, fill up some backup minutes. I think he'll be decent. It's better for sure than winning Gabriel and Thomas Bryant. With all that being said, I think so far into trade deadline, remember, we're only 2, 3 days in, so there's a lot more moves that could be made. This is a championship roster. With a full offseason, this is definitely a finals bound team. But are they going to win it? I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But it's LeBron. You don't bet against the GOAT. You could argue that this roster is already twice as good as the roster we had last year, and we still have 4 more days of free agency. But let me know what you think. Tell me if you think I'm wrong. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think.